Hello, my name is Leanne.
And I'm Orla.
And together we are...
How's your ma?
We have a lovely lady in the studio with us this evening. Her name is Anita. And Anita wants to share some of her story. So she emailed in and she just had a story that she wanted to tell. And probably actually a very varying story, Anita, that you wanted to tell, like from your own experience as being a child and then onto your experience of being a mother. But what I thought was really striking was the last line of your email. And that's where you spoke about your own children and what they might have to carry from the experiences that you've had. And that's what this is about. How do we mirror relationships, or how do we impact people's relationships by the relationships that we have? So you might tell us about yourself now, and we'll spend a couple of minutes talking about who you are now and everything that you've achieved.
Okay.
And some of the great work that you do.
Hey. Yeah, I'm Anita and I work in domestic violence services.
Okay.
But about me personally, I'm 57 years old. I have 5 children. I had my first child as a teenager, my second child as a teenager, and my third child as a teenager.
What? So no geriatric pregnancies
No
with you?
geriatric. Oh, sorry, love. Yeah, no. Yeah, I had 3 under 2.
Wow.
So, yeah. But where I was then, that was the 80s, and obviously I was a big shame on everybody. And where I am now, I've achieved a lot. I've come a long way. I have 5 adult children, 6 grandchildren. I'm incredibly proud of all of them. They've all done so well. And I always had that thing in my head because my marriage ended 20-something years ago, and because I was a single parent, I was adamant that these weren't going to end up like everyone said children were going to. So, yeah, so they're all professionals. And
As are you.
as am I,
Yes.
yes. Well, I'll get, yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose I learned how to be independent very young and how to nurture very young. And I suppose I carry that with me all my life in everything I do. I ran a business for almost 20 years, preschool, after school, long after my marriage broke up. I went to college, I got my level 7, and then I went back 2 years later. I did a diploma in the middle of that, and then I went back 2 years later and did my honours degree.
Well
You
done.
go, girl.
Amazing.
So in 2020 I graduated.
Well done.
And then in 2020 I also lost my business, so that so
Oh,
I had to
COVID, was
reinvent
it?
myself. And so I reinvented myself into, it was COVID, sorry, it was COVID. Just issues with rents and stuff and no funding. And
Yeah.
so I reinvented myself anyway and used the best parts of my degree to move on, and ended up working in domestic violence.
Fabulous.
And tell us some of the work that you do on a day-to-day basis now.
Oh my goodness, that's so varied. So I work in crisis.
Yeah.
I suppose because I am a nurturer, that's how I do my role. I work it's how I see myself with the women I work with. I work with families who experienced domestic abuse and they've come to refuge, or they're ringing the helpline. So I will meet with the women in the refuge on a daily basis. I'll support them with domestic abuse education, try and support them with housing, whatever we can do. You know, some of them have addiction, some of them have mental health. Some of them come in with horrific abuses, and, you know, you have to kind of learn how to detach yourself as well as be empathetic at the same time. And a nice manager once told me that sometimes reactive practice is important as well as reflective practice, you know. So I've learned how to do that, so because you have to protect yourself as well.
Absolutely,
you know.
yeah.
But the work is difficult, very rewarding, and I don't think I could see myself doing anything else ever again.
Brilliant.
I think that you're an absolutely amazing woman, and I think that you've a huge capacity for empathy. I'm always saying that to you. And to be able to have some of the experiences that I know about that Orla doesn't know about, and we will go back and talk about them, but to be able to have some of those experiences and still do the work that you do makes you an absolutely phenomenal woman, but an understanding woman and a caring woman, and a woman that sees people for who they are. But you didn't get to that without having some of the very traumatic experiences that you did have. So you might spin us all the way back to
All right.
wherever you want to start.
Yeah, so I grew up in a very traumatic environment From my youngest age, I remember thinking, if I'm ever a mammy, I'll never do this to my little girl. So I don't know how old I was, but I was thinking mammy and little girl, you know. Yeah, I suppose there was abuse in the home. There was domestic abuse and there was child abuse by both parents in different ways. Yeah. The emotional abuse was, like the physical abuse was fine. You kind of knew it was coming when it was coming, and most of the time, and you got over that. I have 4 siblings, so we supported each other. But the emotional abuse and the neglect was bad. So the neglect didn't really start until...
Can I ask, before you talk about the neglect, where do you come in your family?
I'm the eldest.
Eldest
You
daughter.
knew, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm the eldest, yeah. Yeah, so the neglect started just after the last baby was born. And I was 9, and my mother went to work full time.
So was there a dramatic change? If you say the neglect started, was it okay and then all of a sudden it changed?
Well, it wasn't okay. There was no real neglect. Like, we had meals. We had, you know, we weren't hungry. Our clothes were clean.
Yeah.
We all went to bed.
Yeah.
So sometimes we went to school with baby powder to cover the smells.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, so that wasn't neglect, but my mother went to work full time and left us with my dad then, who was very abusive. I don't mean left us with my dad, that sounds terrible, but
She believed that he could care for you? Or,
no, she didn't.
No? Okay.
She needed the money.
Okay.
And so he was a bus driver and he had 2 heart attacks, and after the second heart attack, they wouldn't let him go back to work.
Okay.
So they put him to work cleaning the buses, and he couldn't manage it. Physically, he couldn't manage it at that time. So my mother came home one day and she says, I have a full-time job, I'm going to work on Monday, and that was it. So I was 9.
And how old was the baby?
Baby was born when I was just 9.
Yeah, so when your ma went back to work, how old was
Few
the
months
baby?
old.
Newborn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No maternity leave in them days.
But she wasn't working before that.
Yeah.
Do you know, and like, it was even before women got equal pay, because I remember when the equal pay came, she got new windows, she got central heating. Yeah, so then my father was at home all the time and my mother worked. So where she worked, they used to do split shifts.
Okay.
So she had 2 shifts. She did a full day shift one week, and then the following week she had a split shift, which meant she was gone from 9 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. She finished work at 9:45, and then by the time she got the bus home, it would be 11 o'clock. So my father used to go down to the bus stop to collect her. So we lived maybe 2 miles from the seafront, so he'd go down every night and collect her. And yeah, so then the kind of, she'd leave £10 a day. So they both smoked very heavily, and my father was a heavy drinker. And she'd leave £10 a day, and that was for everything that was needed for the day. But he'd go to the pub, and the cheapest of the cheap stuff would be left for us for dinner. I remember one time asking when we were going to get some decent food in the house, and such a slap across the face I got. Yeah, he had made a stew, and he had used, frozen burgers had only just come out at the time, and he had used the frozen burgers.
Sorry, frozen burgers are just invented. Oh my God! Like, as in, it was such
Granby
new.
burgers,
Yeah.
or you made what they called rissoles up until then,
yeah.
So we had frozen burgers and Tesco frozen burgers, and you could nearly hear the bones crunching in your mouth. Oh, they were horrendous. But the cheapest of the cheap. But a couple of times he used those burgers to make the stew. One time we found a cigarette butt in our stew. That's why anyone who knows me knows I'm a freak around food. I'm not going to let anyone touch my butter. I won't let anyone touch. If anyone touches it, I won't use it again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you believe that your parents loved you?
Well, do you know, I was only talking about this with my cousin and my brother the other day. My dad definitely loved us. He definitely loved us.
How do you know?
Because when he wasn't violent and drunk, he was emotionally there. Now, he had his own demons, do you know.
Okay,
His mother broke his legs in a beating when he was a child, you know. So I kind of understood very early why he would be violent, because he didn't know, and his father died when he was 6. But I could never understand. I could never understand why my mother was the way she was, and, you know, like, there's things I don't want to say here, but I know I was the result of not a great interaction, and she reminded me of that
Okay.
all the time. And she always says, and still says, she's in a nursing home now and she barely knows us. She's got like a Dory, she's a 10-second memory. It's like the same question. But yeah, she always said my sister, my sister, the middle child, was the favourite. She's the only one I know is my own. She was born at home.
Oh God.
That's what she'd say. But she never thought how that felt to the rest of us. Now I can only speak about me. I mean, I was the first. I thought I should have been loved.
Yeah.
But my mother she grew up almost like a little goddess. She'd 6 brothers who idolised her. She came middle in the family. She always felt sorry for the middle child because
she was a middle child.
Because she was a middle child. She was the only girl. She was made to do everything for them. And then that reflected then on us. But we didn't... She was always ashamed of her mother because her mother was fat. That's how she said it.
Oh.
Fat. And so she'd look at me and she'd go, "You're never going to lose that weight, are you?" No,
and
ma'am.
is she slim?
Oh, yeah, she's only about 5.5, 6 stone now, if she's even that. But she was never more than 8 stone in her whole life. And she never, like, she'd look at people with disgust eating. So it was, now I recognise that she probably had an eating disorder.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so she was idolised. And then when she got married, she wasn't, you know. She wasn't a princess
Reality
anymore.
kicked in.
That's how I see it anyway. That's how I have come to understand her, or to try and understand her.
And this is your story as to be told by you, from your perspective, and it belongs to you. And
all my siblings would have, well, the 3 eldest would have similar stories, except for the favourite, of course. You know.
Oh, really?
That's Orla. Yeah. Orla in her house.
Are you the
Well, I'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, I can't help it.
No. Yeah, so, but the younger 2 didn't have those experiences because obviously, well, not obviously, but things had changed a little bit by then.
Were you a 9-year-old girl raising a new baby?
Yeah. Jeez. And so the first time I cooked a dinner, I was 9. The first time I took the twin tub out to do washing, I was 9. Yeah. Remember a twin tub? Anyone?
Yeah, I do. We had one of them in the flat.
I've seen a picture of it once in the magazine. I'm not joking.
32.
The insults just keep coming.
Yeah. So, like, I was 9. I remember making the stew, and I knew how to make boiled potatoes. So I thought, so you put loads of salt in the boiled potatoes in our house. So when I was making the stew, I thought, well, I'm putting the potatoes in, so I must put loads of salt in. And I did that, and of course the stew was manky. It was full of salt.
Searching for days, were you?
Yeah, so just the general neglect, like going to school then after, like there was, like I was doing the washing a lot of the time, most of the time. Like 9, 10, 11 years old, you know, washing wasn't great. Yeah, so we had, well, I had, difficulties in school around my own hygiene. And that kind of thing.
Like back then, they probably pulled you up on it, did they?
Oh, they would have said it in front of the class. Yeah. Or pulled you, or told you they were going to call your ma because you smelled something. She smells away.
Yeah. I remember there was a young fella in our class in primary. He had nits, and the teacher took him up the top of the class and fine combed his hair in front of everyone. Yeah. And I'm only a young one, so that wasn't that long ago.
2 weeks ago. I was in 5th class.
But like that was the 80s, so it was probably worse than in the 70s when you were in school.
And you still had corporal punishment at that time?
Well, I was never, ever hit in school.
Okay.
I had the ruler slapped on the table where I sat, but I was never, ever, I never experienced that.
Okay.
I was very good in school.
Okay.
Yeah.
You learned, because if you went home and said you were in trouble, you got another wallop.
Yeah, of course.
So then the neglect, I suppose, didn't, like, that was, they always made a big deal that they'd bring us to Boyers to buy our shoes, and the women in the children's department in Boyers knew us, and they remembered us every time we went. So you got new clothes for weekend, for Easter, for everything. And
keeping up appearances, kind of, was it?
Well, yeah, but that's not what my friends were wearing. Like, at 11 I was wearing pedal pushers and Clark shoes with socks, and like my friends were dolly shoes were after coming out, and nothing would be bought in pennies or tons, no way. Everything was Boyers.
Okay.
That was so embarrassing, but everything was the best of quality. But that was for outward appearances as well, because where we grew up was very working class. And
did both of your parents come from a working class background?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my mother is more. They had a small farm, but her father still worked. It wasn't like, so the farm was just, it was for them to be self-sufficient. Yes. So they had chickens and vegetables and whatever.
My ma had that out our back in Ballier. I used to say, how'd you gotta go? She was like, we had a turtle.
Well, my dad planted cabbages in the front garden one year. Like, he used to grow veg all the time, but he planted cabbages in the front garden because he said that was not going to, like, he was ahead of his time, that was going to encourage different worms into the garden, and that was going to make the soil really good. I don't know how he knew that, but
he did.
He did, yeah. Yeah, so then came, I suppose, how I started my email was 1979, New Year's Day. And this is when I knew for the first time, it was confirmed to me that I wasn't loved as much as I should have been, or that I wasn't cared for by my ma, because I got my period that day.
How old were you?
10 and a half.
10 and a half?
So was I.
Really? Jeez, that's very young.
It was New Year's Day. And I hadn't a clue. I didn't know what was going on. So I thought I was after wetting the bed and it was after burning me and whatever. So I called her, and she came up and she opened the bathroom press. She took out a pad and she said, put that in your knickers, you're a mother now. Well, she says, put that in your pants. You're a woman now, you can have babies and don't tell anyone. And then she went to work.
Jesus.
And I hadn't a clue what was going on. And
terrified.
Yeah, so nothing was ever mentioned again, but no pad was changed. She didn't say to me, when that gets dirty,
put a new one on.
Yeah. And a few days later, that pad fell out of my knickers.
Oh.
And sure, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And
how would you? You're 10 and a half.
Yeah. But also, you didn't know anything then.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't anyway.
Well, it was less discussed, wasn't it? It was less open. Like, stay free ads weren't even on
I
the
was going to say, it's all over the telly now.
I remember always the first ads for always sanitary towels, and I remember my father looking around the sitting room going, oh my God. We used to go shopping and he'd say, does your mother need anything?
Yeah.
He'd be pointing at the aisle, does your mother need anything? Yeah, so... But then, like, going to school, like, we'd have holes in our shoes at this point, and so we'd find bits of cardboard to put in the soles of our shoes. When the cardboard went, if you're lucky, you got a bit of lino or something that you found. And
I know a lot of people that tell a very similar story, and the stories of poverty, your stories of poverty and neglect.
It wasn't poverty, Leanne. There was no poverty. There was plenty of money for...
In your family home, okay.
There was money for...
So were they drinking and smoking it?
Well, my mother wasn't drinking. They were both smoking, but my father was a drinker, yeah. And, yeah.
And would he be a violent drunk?
Yeah. Like, it'd be, go get the fry on. Your dad's coming now. Your dad be here in a minute. Get that fry on, or there'd be murder.
So did your ma work Monday to Friday? Would you be home weekends?
It was a 7-day rota, so no. She always worked her rest day as well when she could. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was very emotionally absent from our lives, and I don't think she didn't know, or didn't not know that what was going on when she wasn't there. She knew what was going on when she was there, and you know, sometimes she'd throw you under the bus rather than get a hiding herself. You know.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
Like, she knew what life was like for us. I remember one time asking her if she was to do anything different, and she said, she had a think, and she said, I wouldn't have had you cleaning the house every day.
That's it.
That's profound, isn't it?
Yeah. Like,
what did you hear when she said that to you?
Well, that's all you know.
That's all you heard was those words. Did you hear, I wasn't loved, I was needed here, I didn't?
No. And that's what my father used to say to him, Dad, can I stay off school, please? I hate school because just hated school because of all those experiences, and I developed epilepsy in second year. Things changed, like academically things changed for me. It was like, I don't know if I had a brain injury because I was never brought to the hospital. I was knocked down off my bike, a motorbike hit me, and I was never brought to the hospital. So I don't know what happened there. So that's another bit of neglect, you know. But academically I wasn't great, and I couldn't keep up, and I was in the highest class, and they were talking about putting me down into a lower class, and you know, I just didn't want to go. So, can I stay at home? I'll clean the house, I'll do the washing, I'll do
And would he
whatever.
let you stay home?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. School wasn't important to him because he never went to school really. His mother would drop him off, and he'd be over the gate.
Yeah.
And he'd be home sitting on the doorstep waiting on her when she got home. Yeah.
And did it get any better as you got older, like teenagers?
No, it got worse because the big thing was the name calling. So we've been called a little whore.
By your father?
Yeah, and my mother.
And your God.
Is that because you had a partner, or you were starting to think about boys, or just what they called you?
Just what they called us, you know.
Okay.
Like, a term of endearment was, go on, you little bastards, you know.
I call my dog a prick all the time, and now I feel real bad.
No,
Don't tell your dog,
you wanna hear what-
Not only a dog, he's a family member.
I had to tell my dog I'm going to drop kick him over the wall, you little fucker.
Oh God, I feel a little bit bad.
Yeah, so school wasn't an escape. School was just as bad. And then the embarrassment then as the others came into the school. We didn't go to the local school because that wasn't good enough for us. That was community school. We went to a convent school where they would teach us how to be ladies.
Oh,
Nuns, animals.
they'd never take me. I have. I'm like Braveheart. They'd never take me.
I have a certain set of skills.
I'm not afraid to use them.
Yeah, so as the others came in, like, was, you know, their neglect was shown, and it was embarrassing, and I'd lost my academic, you know, my focus, and which I didn't know I was having, like, what they used to call petit mal seizures. I know they call them absent seizures now, but so that was going on for me as well.
And you were still parenting them, trying to go to school,
Trying to be a teenager.
trying to
run a house.
trying to stop your parents from beating you and neglecting you, and trying to survive, really.
And sitting a lot of nights, not most nights, a lot of nights with the five of us on a bed, all huddled together, because we killings downstairs, and we were just afraid.
And would it just kick off over nothing? Yeah.
You lived in chronic fear.
Oh, chronic. I mean, until I left the house, I went to bed till I left the house. I was 17.
Is everyone still alive?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
There's one who has attempted to take a life many times, but we don't allow that. But every one of us have different stories, and our lives turned out very differently. I like to think that I survived the best. As that sounds terrible. I had the better set of skills, I suppose. Goes back to aces, you know. You hit every one of the aces, but still, I always had it in my mind that things will be different someday. Things won't always be like this.
Right.
Can I just remind people that ACEs are adverse childhood experiences? We probably talk about them quite a lot in work. ACEs are adverse childhood experiences which change the trajectory of your life, and as a child, which change the shape of your brain and how you see the world around you. They're caused by different types of trauma. It's based in and around 10 traumas.
Yes.
So you kept saying to yourself, it's going to get better. It's won't last forever. But you think your brothers and sisters didn't.
Oh no, they've all gone on and done. But I just think that my outcome, in my eyes, as in education and how I tried to raise my children and do it single-handedly. Even when I was still married, I was doing it single-handedly because typically the cycle went on, and I ended up in a marriage with my teenage boyfriend that was very difficult, you know. And so I have my own demons about that and what my children experienced.
Okay.
You know, but I do feel I couldn't have done any better with the skills that I had.
Yeah.
You know, at the time.
I think you've done fantastically with the skill set that you've had.
Oh, thanks.
And I often say to people in these situations, they're like, oh, well, I done it because, and you done it in spite of, in spite of all of the experiences that you've had. And like, it's resilience, but we don't build resilience without having had experienced trauma. We often see people take that huge leap because they try to control the rest of their life as much as they can, to achieve as much as they can, because the gap feels like it's really big for them. You see that on a day-to-day in the domestic violence realm.
When I graduated, it was my first graduation in 2017, I asked my mum, did she want to come? I said, did she want to come to the graduation? Thinking she'd be proud. I was the only one who ever went to college. Now I was 48 or something, was I? I don't know what I was, 49. And she says, would you ever fuck off out of that? She says, remember where you came from. I'm like, that's what I'm trying to forget, Mum.
Yeah. Well, but also, I remember what you came from, and you know that you can do better.
Yeah.
I was asked in an interview, the last interview that I did, and the last interview I ever intend to do, what was my proudest moment. And I said I was doing my thesis, and my eldest child was doing her project for her course. My son was doing he was in his year 4 or phase 4 for electrician. And my other daughter was doing special needs assistant. The 4 of us were sitting around the table, all doing our stuff. And I just looked around and I thought, amazing. I'm so proud of you. It's like, here we are, 4 of us sitting around the table, and like,
well done, Anita.
All on our way. Oh, well done them as well. You know,
well done you. Yeah. It's, I suppose it's your own reflections of the life that you've had and wanting to change that led them to get the support that they needed, despite what might have happened with them and your own kind of parenting style. Like, you still believed in them enough to get them there.
And you know, they're amazing. But that was my proudest moment.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
I love how you smile. So tell us about your teenagers, because you said you've 3 kids at the back end of your teenagers.
Yeah, so
you're still at home.
Still at home. There was other things, you know, when you are neglected and abused in your home and people know about it, there's things that happen to you that I don't want to go into, but there's things that happen to you that other people see and take from you. And that started to happen to me very young. I want to say 14, but I'm thinking that after I've said that in the last few months, I think it was younger.
Okay.
So there was a lot going on for me, and I had experiences that I shouldn't have had. Yeah. So that led me to be a different kind of teenager. And then I knew, so the father of my children, I was married. He's the father of all my children. I married him just before the 4th one was born, a year before the 4th one was born. Yeah, I knew him all my life, and it was an escape. It was like,
here's my way out.
Here's my way out. Got pregnant very quick. No, that's not what was in my head, obviously, but that's, like, I hear it so much, it must be a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I hear women in work, and it's like, oh, well, you know, home was bad, and this was the way
like
out.
A better option.
Yeah, and then it turns out it's not a better option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, got pregnant. I never took drugs. I did drink very early. I was drinking from about 14 or 15.
I used to rob my granddad's potty in at that age and drink it out of sheds. Sorry, Granddad, he's up in heaven. I don't know, I don't believe him.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. He's floating around there somewhere, like a ginny job.
My brother used to drink the vodka, and again, like 12, 13. One time my auntie came and my father says, would you have a vodka? I think they used to put an L in vodka.
Yeah. You vodka.
He poured it for her and he put water in it, and she drank it, and she went, that's water. So the hidings were given, who took that?
Right.
Yeah, so that was funny though. Or tea in the whiskey bottle. Yeah, so vodka was my thing as well. So so I would have drank, and I would have gone to, so Saints in Howth was the place to go. So they did 99 pence night on a Tuesday. Now, remember, I was a school child.
Yeah. I was in the
and
banana.
I was in Rumours. £1 a bottle on a Tuesday night.
There you go. It's great. Yeah, so I'd go there on a Tuesday. I'd be absolutely atrocious. Get lifts home off people.
Yeah.
that was your whole thing until you found someone to give you a lift home. You couldn't settle, and they'd probably ply you with drink as well. And your friends buy you a drink. Yeah, and my friends. And yeah. So that's the kind of life. And then I started going out with my ex-husband, and that got very full on very quick. And like we thought we were, you think you're in love.
The business.
Yeah. So anyway, child number 1 came along, 18. Yeah, child number 2, 19, and child number 3 at the back end of 19. So 3 under 2, and it's a blip.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you. So I remember when I told my mother I was pregnant, so one of the other girls on the road was after getting pregnant, and she was climbing out the window. Her boyfriend was at the bottom of the window. It wasn't funny, but
but it was.
He was standing. Nobody knew she was pregnant until after this, but he was standing on in the garden, and she was trying to come out the bedroom window upstairs, and she dropped, and her father came running out the door, and the fellow went running up the road, and she had a broken neck.
Oh God!
Yeah, so that was she was pregnant. And I remember actually as a child saying, there was a girl across the road who had a baby, and I said to her, how do you get a baby, ma'am? And she said, oh, you have to be married, and Holy God then leaves you a baby, and that's how you get a baby. And I said, oh, well, such and such across the road isn't married, and she has a baby. So that was I got a slap across the face for saying that.
Okay.
So I was very, very young then. But yeah, so I had to tell my mum I was pregnant, and I didn't know till I was 5 months. So I was 5 months pregnant, and I hadn't a clue. And now I knew I was going to have a baby in 4 months, and I knew my mum was going to throw me out.
Oh, you were still living at home?
Yeah, because that's what she always said. That was the threat. But something, the threat wasn't all that bad in the end. Yeah, so I told her, and so there was silence for ages. And she said, "You've 3 days to get out of this house, and then I'm telling your father, and I won't be responsible for what happens." So I had 3 days. So
what were those 3 days like for you?
Oh, I was sick. I also worked in the same place as my mother did.
Oh.
And she said that I couldn't go back to work. So all of a sudden, and of course I accepted that.
Yeah.
As you do.
So where did you go after 3 days?
Well, I didn't wait 3 days. I went, there was a woman lived a couple of doors down, and her and her husband were the happiest couple I ever knew. And they were drinkers, the two of them, but they were an item, They were still an item. And he was years older than her. And she was a beautiful girl, beautiful woman. But they always knew what was going on, and they were so kind. There was a family on our road that were so badly neglected that the kids on Dole Day used to knock around the house and say, "Have you anything to eat?" And she'd nothing herself, but she'd be making food and passing it in the window to them and stuff. So anyway, I went to her and I told her that I was pregnant. And I knew she'd understand because it only transpired years later. She went to the convent to be a nun. She didn't want to, but that's what her family wanted for her. She had 2 brothers, priests. But she married her husband, and he was good for 17 years older than her, and she was only young. And she left the convent and went to Gretna Green and got married to him.
Was he a priest training in the...
No, he wasn't. He was a waiter.
Okay.
Oh, God, no. But then it transpired that she was pregnant, getting married and stuff. So they were a great support to me, and they loaned me the deposit for a place. I got half a house to rent in a seaside town, we'll say. And it was £54 for the deposit, so I had to pay her back that. But yeah, they were a great support, and so I stayed there until I moved into the other place.
Okay.
With me.
So did your ma say that you were only a couple of doors down because keeping face for? Oh, she didn't know.
No, I hid.
Okay.
I was afraid of my dad.
Yeah. What did your dad say when he found out you were pregnant?
He didn't talk to me for God. So he didn't talk to me, and he wouldn't look at the baby. And when I had the baby, when I had her, I couldn't wait all night. I wanted to ring my ma and tell her I'd had the baby. Because at that time, she was coming to the place where I lived, and she might take my little sister out of school early because she missed me terrible. You know, she
Yeah.
was only 8 or 9 at the time. So she'd tell my dad she was going to work and come and see me, and she'd give me money. But then when I had the baby nearly midnight, 11:57. Couldn't wait for the morning. Couldn't wait to see my baby because they took them away then for the night at that time into the nursery. And I couldn't wait to ring my ma, but we didn't have a phone, so I rang my next door neighbour, and she went and got my ma. And while we were waiting on my ma, she said, "Did you have your baby?" I said, "I did. I had a little girl." I said, "And she's the most beautiful baby in the ward." And my mother came on the phone, and I said, "I had the baby, ma'am. I had a little girl." And she said, "Did you have a hard time?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know."
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, grand, that's great. Glad you're okay." And that was it. And she didn't come up to see me in the hospital.
When was the next time that you spoke to her?
A few weeks later, maybe.
I'm probably going to ask a question again, and it's probably because this could come up quite a lot for me. Like, it's women who say, you know, my mum gave me such a hard time, and then when they have a baby or in there, and that they're like, I just want me ma, I just want me ma. But this is the same person who has hurt them for so many years, and I think it's a phenomenon. I don't always understand it, but I do understand the nature and nurture and connection, and it's like, yeah, I don't always understand the want for somebody who's hurt you so much or the need to have them.
Yeah. But I just thought, because I was a mum now,
Yeah.
I thought maybe she'll respect me.
She'll melt a little
you know,
bit
she
as
might,
well.
yeah. And she'll want to see the baby, but she
Yeah.
didn't come near me. Now, my mother-in-law was great. Yeah, she came every day. And I was 3 weeks in hospital. I was 3 weeks in hospital, so like that was a long time.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Geez, you're in and out now like a conveyor belt, aren't you?
Oh well, it was 3 weeks because of stuff that went on. I
Okay.
think it was
So
5
you
days.
did have a hard time.
Oh, I did,
Yeah.
but I didn't know I had
You
it.
didn't know.
I didn't
You didn't know any
episiotomy.
different.
I did. I was asked would I mind if they did this procedure for the students to see, because I was an unmarried mother. I was treated like
Yeah.
I said, well, what will it do? And he said, oh, it'll make the baby come out easier. So I had an episiotomy. And then I passed out in the toilet a few days later and burst everything and had to be redone, rushed to theatre. And
Yeah.
so my dad didn't talk to me from the time I moved out until after the second child I got a pulmonary
After your second child?
Yeah. I had a pulmonary embolism, blood clot in my lung, and I had pneumonia. And I was in hospital, and it was touch and go, like, for a while. And my second was 10 days old. And so I don't know how my mother knew. I don't know how they got in touch with my mother or what happened. But when I came round, my mother and my sister, who I'm really close with, they were there. And I had the 10-day-old baby with me, and on the trolley in the hospital in James's. And so they took the baby. So I didn't see the baby for 3 weeks, imagine.
Oh, wow.
So they went and they got, I don't even know who had my eldest child. I don't remember because I was taken by ambulance from the house. And of course, the ex-husband, he was somewhere. I don't know where he was. He didn't come back for days. So apparently my dad's sisters had been, and one of them actually, well, two of my dad's sisters were amazing women who I had great relationships with, and he used to call them the original women's libbers. But they were brilliant women. And one of them said to him, she could die, and you won't have even let her know that you care. So I was in a room on my own because I don't know why, because
you were so sick, probably. Yeah.
So they used to come in, like the nurses were fabulous, and they knew I missed my baby. And
Did your man not bring the babies up to see it or anything now?
But this day, about a week before I went home from the hospital, I could see this child running down, this toddler running down the corridor. It was my child. I hadn't seen her in 2 weeks. And there was my father behind her. And he picked her up and he came into the room, and I never forget the fear. I was stuck to the bed and I wet the bed.
Oh,
Anita,
Everything
I'm so sorry.
just wet the bed. Couldn't believe it. And I sat in it the whole time. And he told me what my auntie had said to him. And yeah, you had behaved yourself, things would have been different, you know. That I got that a lot. But yeah, so that's when my dad talked to me the next time. So
To tell you off.
well, it wasn't really, no. I mean, no, it wasn't. He cared. He did care. He wouldn't have come with the child if he didn't. And when I saw him with her, because he'd never even looked at her,
Okay.
even in the pram, he'd walk into the kitchen and he'd say to my mother, that, because I was in the house twice before I had my second baby, that child's crying, that child's not moving, or something like that. You
moved to defend him a little bit more because you believed that he loved you a little bit more.
Yeah. I know what you went through, and at the end of it, he died. I'm dying to get through this year because he died at 57.
Okay.
So I have until the 29th of June now to.
We'll have
to
a little
beat
cake.
Yeah, so I'm dying for that, to get through that 57th year or 58th year. Yeah, but we had I was the only one talking to him when he died, actually. The only one.
Did your ma and dad stay together?
Mm-hmm. Well, he left loads of times.
Oh, did he?
I mean, he lived in he left one time and went around the fucking alleyway door into the back garden and into the shed that he'd built.
Oh, okay.
The priest came down and told my mother she better let him in now. Enough was enough. But sure, Christmas Day, the coffee table could go out the window. The turkey went out a couple of times. You know, it was Christmas Day
That was bad, was it?
Bad, yeah.
Why Christmas Day?
Because he'd be drinking at home.
Oh, right.
And everybody's off together. It's the same reflection as COVID.
Yeah.
When everybody all of a sudden is kind of locked into a space and time together that they're not usually in, because there's an escapism. Christmas Day, the pubs didn't open back then, and there was no buses on, so you're very much stuck together, much like COVID in those times.
If you didn't buy a cabbage for the dinner, there was nowhere to get it on Christmas Day, you know. So Christmas Day was always, we dreaded Christmas. And the year his mother died, I was 16 that year, and my mother let all our friends in. We were all smoking, we were drinking, and we thought that was the best Christmas we ever had. Because he was up in the hospital the whole time. So you
could relax.
Yeah, Christmas Eve she took a stroke and he didn't come back until the 27th. It was great. It was, though. It was great because our friends for the first time were in our houses. And
you could breathe a little sigh of relief knowing that he was offside. Yeah. God, that's awful.
So how did you get it together?
So when I was on my own for a long time. I got pregnant on my third, and I was on my own for a long time. He was gone for a long time, 2 years. And
you were married at this stage?
No, we weren't married at that time.
You weren't married.
And I'd no electricity for 9 months. I cooked on the fire for me and the kids. I didn't tell anyone, nobody knew. I just went home, lit the fire, cooked, I'd light the fire in the morning, or I had a super Sarah heater, and I used to turn it on its side and boil the milk in the morning for the kids' breakfast that way. Yeah. When I think back, so when I look back at all that and queuing for food, you know, there was the butter vouchers, and couldn't wait for the butter vouchers to come in because you'd be able to go to the shop and use them. And I smoked, so I
get smokes on them.
I'd get smokes on the butter vouchers.
Did anyone ever buy butter on butter vouchers?
No.
Yeah, I think everyone bought smokes, didn't they?
Rotman's a major.
Oh, at that time, Rotman's, yeah.
My nanny was on the players.
Oh, Woodbines, wasn't Woodbines and real old-fashioned smoke.
You'd rub one and go...
No vaping back then, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I don't know how I pulled it together, but I did. I got married anyway. He came back, we got married.
And where was he gone for 2 years?
That's not my story.
But was he in Ireland?
Oh, he was in Ireland,
right,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did he see the children?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so he didn't even know he came to see when the middle child was born, my boy. He came to see him in the hospital, but didn't But then he started being around a little bit more then after that. But then we got married, and I realised when I got married, I knew walking down the aisle that I shouldn't have done it.
Okay.
But I felt, sure, who'd have me? You know, I have 3 kids. Who wants someone with 3 kids? You're talking about 1990.
Yeah.
You know, no, 1991 it was. Yeah, we got married in 91. Yeah, so then I had another baby. And then I had another baby. But we left where we were living because I had said I will not bring my kids up here because I could see what was going on around us. Heroin was only coming in and heroin was everywhere. That's all I could see.
I'm watching Legends on Netflix at the minute where the heroin epidemic started in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, and like I always said, 4 years is the maximum I can spend in this house. So it was in a corporation house on the north side. And,
did you get that in the newlyweds lottery?
No.
You already had it?
No, I wasn't married then. But yeah, so because I can't do this, I can't let my kids grow up because I know what will become of them. I can't watch my child OD on the wall. So we moved to a different part of the country, and everything was grand for a while until I realised that he was taking drugs, and he'd gone missing for days on end. I didn't know what drugs he was taking. I knew he smoked hash because he smoked hash, but he didn't do it in the house, and he only did it when he was with people. And I was so against it all, so against it all. I was afraid to take drugs because I knew I'd be the one that'd end up out in front of a car. So that time I didn't know about heroin overdoses or anything like that. Yeah. So to me it was like I'd get stoned and fall out in front of a car and that'd be me. But I pulled it together while we lived away because I knew I had to. And then I got pregnant again. I was waiting to go in to be sterilised, and when I went in to be sterilised, they did a pregnancy test and I was pregnant.
Oh, God.
So I had baby number 5 and then was sterilised then soon after she was born. Sterilised, it's very...
Yeah.
And he didn't give consent. My friend's husband came to the hospital and signed the papers for me in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not that
so he probably wanted more children.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, sure, he didn't. I don't think he wanted any of them. I mean, he hasn't seen any of them in... I don't know, my daughter's getting married next month and he's not invited, you know.
But you've had some really good friends that have shaped your life, I suppose, at some stage where they've recognised what it is that you needed and were able to lean in and give it to you.
Well, you only need one good person, don't you?
You do, yeah.
And
that's your lighthouse.
Your lighthouse,
yeah. So one good person, and I was very lucky throughout my life that I had one good person. It wasn't always the same person, but it was
different stages in your life.
And you know, when I look back, my ex-husband, he always hated that one good person. It was like he knew
she was on your side.
Yeah. And so we broke up, and we moved back to Dublin, and we broke up. I couldn't live with him anymore. Couldn't do it. Couldn't, because I knew he was taking tablets. I knew he was like my little girl. I went to work and I got a job anyway. Hadn't worked in years, and my first day at work, special needs assistant, very, very early on that time, she was only 3, and I went to work and the kids were cold, so they lit the fire, and they would have often seen me put rubbish on the fire, like I threw the nappies in the fire and everything, you know, you did then. So they put a plastic milk carton in the fire and lit it in the fireplace, and my youngest fell into the fire, and the plastic stuck to her hand and burnt all through her hand, and he was in bed the whole time. So my sister lived close by, and my eldest girl went and got my sister, and she had her for the day. So there was no mobile phones or anything.
Yeah.
So, and they weren't going to ring my job on my first day. So that was the catalyst. I think it was like the neglect, I knew this couldn't happen again. This couldn't happen again. It
wouldn't mirror the cycle that had happened
history
before.
Repeating
again. So that was that. And then I was like, what the fuck do I do now? But so I moved to where I live now, and that's 29 years ago. And so I live there now, and I've been very happy most of the time. There has been times where I haven't been, and there has been times where my ma would come to the house, like in the very early days when I still smoked. Like if I rang, and I rang every day. Like I don't know why I did, but I did, because it was like I've heard you talking about seasons, different seasons on the podcast. But if I could ring her and tell her anything emotional, and she'd say, "Oh, you made your bed and you can lie in it." But if I said to her, "I've no money for smokes," she'd get 2 buses to
Physically
where I
there.
lived
Physically present.
to give me
Emotionally unavailable.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and I didn't, like, it's only when you look back that like, you realise, you know, how emotionally unavailable she was. But physically, like, she couldn't have you without a cigarette, Jesus, no. But, yeah, so there was many times where that happened. But then I got another job, and it was a CE scheme. So I did the CE scheme, and I worked with young people in youth services.
So did I.
Very good. But that's what I did to start off with, and I was there, I got a second year. And it was grand because I didn't have to have the kids minded for too long. The elder ones were, so it was 1999. So, yeah, so the eldest would have been 12. So she would have been able to let herself in. And then the youngest one went to one of the neighbours, and they'd be out playing, and I'd be home then at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that was grand, sometimes 3 o'clock if I could sneak out. But so I started working there, and then I got another job. I applied for a job while I was there, and when I went to work there, I very quickly became a senior member of staff, and then I became the manager for maternity cover, and then the manager only came back for about a week, and then I got the job as manager. And then, so I had a very good friend working with me at the time, one of the women who shaped my life. So I was into a kind of a different phase of my life at that time. My kids were teenagers. I was, yeah. And you know, I look back and like I was lovely and I didn't know it, you know.
Gone from strength to strength and blooming, I suppose, from the seeds.
Like
blooming.
I looked different, I felt different. Yeah, and like I had my struggles with my kids, Jesus. Like I was happy. And then so then I went on to open my own place from there. And again, there was women I met there. I was with one of them today, actually. His partner. It was like a busman's holiday today. I was somewhere where I shouldn't be on my day off. But yeah, I met some of my greatest friends there. And I worked with them. They didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I worked with them, and I think that was how I managed. And I when I look back, I supported everyone. We're all doing this degree. We're all doing it, and we all did it. Yeah. And even when I couldn't take the time off to do the exams, I knew I was going to have to take them the second round. I covered all that. They all did their exams, and then I went and did mine again. I don't know where I was going. What was the question? All the different women who shaped my...
And if there was, I suppose, some words to describe those women and yourself at that time, what would they be?
Well, at that time I was very strong. It's
great to be able to recognise that in yourself.
Well, I didn't recognise it then. I was
looking back,
so
you can
strong.
see how strong you are.
And I remember my eldest daughter saying to me, "Mum, I can see you're getting strong. I can see it."
Isn't that amazing?
That make your heart happy.
Yeah. I can see her getting strong. And she was only about 18 at the time, so I would have been only about 36. But yeah, my kids recognised it. And I felt younger than I ever had, really.
Yeah.
So then that was that chapter. But I had good friends and made bad mistakes with friends.
Yeah, as we do.
As we all do. But yeah, during that time, like my kids stop and still think my ma's gas, Oh, she's hilarious.
Have they a good relationship with Granny?
Well, now she doesn't really know us,
She lives in the nursing home.
No, I know, but like when they were growing up, would she have had any kind of relationship with your ma and dad?
Well, my dad died very young. He died at 57, so he was very young. I think the eldest was only 4 when he died.
Oh, okay.
And he loved them. He absolutely loved them. Like, he'd be going around with his lawnmower and my baby would be sitting on the lawnmower being pushed up the road because he used to cut grass. Yeah. He used to go around cutting grass. Yeah. But obviously he didn't take the baby with him. But but she... Like, the kids would have thought she was hilarious. Like, I've all these sayings from growing up and people just say to me, "What the fuck are you saying?" In work, it's like, boundaries, Anita, boundaries. Like, oh my God.
That's not.
No, it's not. Someone else. But, Yeah, and so my kids would have thought that was hilarious, and so she's a racist as well, so they would have thought that was hilarious at one point until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And like she'd call them names, and they'd think that was funny, you know. Whereas I'd be like,
That's me mad granny, like.
yeah.
Yeah.
And whereas I'm like, oh, this was my childhood.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, I suppose she did love them. I mean, there was times I went out and she'd be like, oh my God. But I can imagine 5 kids landing out in your house, you know, like it can't have been, you know, she's still, yeah, so.
If you were to pick a song that means something to you, that explains part of your life, what would that be?
So I know how to answer this. I can't remember who sings it. I'll Be Your Clown.
Oh, I love that song.
Emily Sandy?
Yeah.
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 That's the soundtrack to my life.
Okay. Why?
That's a lovely song.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Just because I was always the clown at home. Not at home.
Putting on a show.
I tried to make them laugh.
Oh, did you?
And when, you know, the other kids, I'd try and keep them, you know, yes, it's all going on downstairs. Let's sing a song. So we'd be singing, and like that's my childhood is singing. We all sang in the bed. All the songs from Annie, the Sound of Music. Oh my God, we'd sing all night.
And I'd say your brothers and sisters absolutely idolise you.
No,
Oh,
my brother does.
okay.
My brother does, and my middle sister. But yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
that's all right.
I think you're great.
Ah, so do I.
That's right. And I'm glad to hear that you do.
Yeah. I do
suppose.
sometimes.
Yeah, when you get stuck in that parenting role for other people, when you've had a bad experience of parenting, you're trying to parent and it's not your job, and then it's like, why is she doing this? She doesn't get to interfere in her life. And I don't know that that's what they're saying about you, but something that I've heard time and time again. And as we finish up, I suppose I want to just say thanks very much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
You should be hugely proud of yourself and all of the successes that you have achieved along the way, but also everything that you give back to every woman that walks through the doors, every woman that walks through the door of the services that you provide, the children that you have, the acknowledging what the struggles was like for them, and still being able to give some of yourself. It takes a very special person to be able to do that. And that's why I always say you have a huge capacity for empathy, but you have to have some of that for yourself as well, and the situation that you've been in. You are an absolute queen. You are an absolute survivor, and well done to you, Anita. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
My name is Leanne.
My name's Orla.
And together we are
How's your ma?